What's up guys, my name is Brock, you're watching The Modest Man. Today we're talking about 10 rookie style mistakes that you should try to avoid. Okay, when it comes to improving your style, most advice is additive. It's about what you should do. Wear this, buy that. And even if it's great advice, sometimes you just don't have the time or money to implement it. But you can also improve your style by simply avoiding mistakes, and that's what this video is all about. I'm talking about things that you can start doing right now, today. So here are 10 style mistakes you should try to avoid. Number 1, wearing athletic socks. Okay, the only time you should be wearing athletic socks is, you guessed it, when you're doing athletic things. So if you're playing sports or if you're working out, athletic socks are fine. It doesn't matter if they're short, long, what color, it doesn't matter. But you shouldn't wear athletic socks when you're not playing sports or if you're not working out. So if you're wearing, casual clothing or business casual or formal, there are certain types of socks that go best with those outfits, and they're never athletic socks, especially the thick white cotton athletic socks. Now I realize that sometimes you'll wear sneakers, like casual sneakers, when you're not doing athletic things, and that's fine. But if you do wear sneakers, especially low-cut casual sneakers, you should wear no-show socks. You can also wear no socks at all with certain types of shoes, but I really love no-show socks. And if you want to read about my favorite no-show sock brands, I'll link to an article about that down below in the description. Okay, mistake number 2, wearing a backpack with dressy outfits. Now, if you read GQ, you'll probably see a bunch of people dressed up in suits wearing sneakers and backpacks, but let's be honest, it's actually not a good look, and most of us in the real world can't pull it off and wouldn't want to. And it doesn't matter if it's a designer backpack. I don't care if it costs $25 or $2,500. It's just not a good idea to wear a backpack with a suit. Backpacks are great for certain people in certain situations, like if you commute on a bike, or if you're a student, or if you're hiking. But if you're wearing a suit to an office or to a business meeting, a backpack is never appropriate. So you're gonna wanna find yourself a laptop bag or a messenger bag or a briefcase to carry your things. It's gonna look much better with a business casual or business formal outfit. And especially if you look young, people are gonna take you much more seriously if you have a real bag like a briefcase versus wearing a backpack. Okay, mistake number 3 is wearing casual belts with dress pants. Now, most casual belts are thick. They're either made from leather or canvas or nylon or something like that. They're about 1.5 inches or 1.25 inches wide, and the actual material is thick and durable. Sometimes the actual buckles are sturdy and bulky, and those are great for jeans or chinos or shorts or other casual outfits. But if you're dressing up, if you're wearing wool trousers and a blazer, or you're wearing a suit, you're gonna wanna wear either no belt at all or a dressy belt. Now, dressy belts are usually made of higher end materials, so they might be made from full grain leather or patent leather, so they have a little bit of shine to them, and they have more of a minimal, thinner buckle, so they're not gonna protrude as much from your waistline. Also, dressier belts are thinner, and I think if you're a smaller guy or a shorter guy, your dress belt should be no wider than 1 inch. Anything wider than that is gonna look a little too casual and a little too big for your build. So try to avoid wearing thick casual belts with dress pants. Okay, mistake number 4 is wearing a casual outerwear with suits. I see this all the time. I see guys out there wearing really nice, tailored, high quality suits. Then they have like a shiny, puffy parka on over top, and it just kind of ruins the look. It's a mismatch. It's the same as like wearing sneakers with the suit. It just doesn't really make sense. And I realize that in certain locations, it's so cold outside that the only thing that will keep you warm and safe is a parka. In that case, that's fine. But for most men, it's gonna be a much better choice to wear like a wool top coat, something in navy or charcoal or camel, that's a little bit more formal than like a parka. Parkas by nature are sporty, they're technical, and they're very casual, especially if they have a lot of details and a little bit of shine to them. So, try to get yourself a wool formal coat, like a top coat. Make sure it doesn't go past about mid-thigh, and that can be your go-to outerwear when you're dressing up. Mistake number 5, wearing dress shirts untucked. Now, there are 2 different kinds of button-up shirts. There are dress shirts and there are casual button-ups. Dress shirts are longer because they're meant to be worn tucked in. They also have curved hems, to keep them tucked in. And then they have more formal details like stiff structured collars. They might be made of more formal materials, like just different types of cottons and using different weaves, usually like thinner and finer and more crisp than casual button-up shirts. These kinds of shirts aren't meant to be worn casually. They're not meant to be worn untucked. Now, on the other hand, you have casual button-up shirts. They're shorter in length. They have more casual details, like maybe they have a chest pocket or a button-down collar. They have unstructured or soft collars and soft cuffs. And they have a different shape of the hem, and they're meant to be worn untucked. And in fact, a lot of these shirts are too short to actually tuck in. But I see a lot of guys, and they just take their dress shirt and they wear it untucked, and that's like their going out shirt. And they think that they're dressed up because it's a dress shirt. But really, it looks horrible, and it's usually way too long, especially if you're a shorter guy. So really, you should have two different types of button-up shirts in your closet, and they should be separated and used for different occasions. You have your dress shirts, and you have your casual button-ups that you can wear untucked. Mistake number 6 is wearing dark socks with light colored pants, or light socks with dark colored pants. This one's really easy. You want to avoid wearing, for example, black socks with light khaki colored chinos, or white socks with a black suit. This just creates like a weird mismatch, and it just looks like you don't really know what you're doing. So, a good rule of thumb is to make sure that your socks are the same color as your pants, maybe just a little darker. So if you're wearing a gray suit, dark gray socks are gonna look really good. If you're wearing brown chinos, dark brown socks are gonna look perfect. Now, of course, you can wear different colors, but this is just a good rule of thumb. The thing you want to avoid is that stark contrast. So like black pants, white socks. That's usually not a good look. Oh, and to the guys that wear like the crazy, bold, loud, kind of wacky socks, I think that's a bit overrated. Mistake number 7 is wearing dress shoes with jeans. I understand there are certain types of jeans that can be dressed up, slim fit, dark wash, tapered jeans. You can wear dressier shoes like wingtips or dress boots with those. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about like medium wash or light wash jeans. And what I see a lot of the times is guys wearing casual jeans, and then they have like black Oxfords or brown double monks, and they're just way too dressy for the type of pants that they're wearing. And in my opinion, that's a huge mistake. Most jeans, no matter how formal and how fitted they are gonna look a little weird or a little too casual with super dressy shoes like black Oxfords. If you really want to wear that kind of shoe, I would go with like a brown wingtip, or a better bet, in my opinion, is just wear some boots. Wear some dress work boots, Chelsea boots, chukka boots. Those are perfect for jeans. Or you can always wear like a casual or even a dressy loafer. But try to stay away from like super dressy shoes with jeans, which are casual in nature. Mistake number 8, and this is a personal pet peeve of mine, is wearing boat shoes with dressy pants. Boat shoes are very casual, and I think a lot of guys kind of get this wrong because they look like loafers. They're kind of like loafers, but they're actually a completely different shoe. Boat shoes are meant to be worn with like cuffed chinos and chino shorts or swim trunks. Maybe linen pants in the summertime, but they're really not dressy shoes. If you want to wear that kind of shoe, go with a loafer or maybe like a dressy driving moccasin. But really, boat shoes are meant to be worn without socks in casual settings. Mistake number 9 is wearing V-neck sweaters with nothing underneath. Now, this rule is breakable, but in general, V-neck sweaters are best for layering. They look really good when they're worn over a button-up shirt. When you wear a V-neck sweater with nothing under, it exposes too much chest, especially if the V is kind of deep, and if you have a hairy chest especially, it's not a good look. If you really want to wear a sweater without a button-up shirt under, go for a crew neck sweater. It's going to look much better than a V-neck, especially if you wear a lighter colored undershirt, so you just see just a little bit of it right there. That's a much better look than just wearing a V-neck sweater with nothing underneath. Okay, mistake number 10, wearing casual watches with dressy outfits. Now, this is another one of those rules that is very much breakable, but I see a lot of guys getting this wrong. The problem is when you have a watch that's like really bulky, for example, like a big chunky dive watch, and you're wearing that with a suit. It just looks mismatched, and it'd be much better to either wear a dress watch or just no watch at all. Watches are kind of like shoes in that way. Like, it's a little bit easier to take a dressy watch and dress it down, but it's much harder to take a very casual watch and dress it up. Okay, in conclusion, it's totally okay if you found yourself making some of these mistakes, and like any fashion rules, a lot of these are very much breakable. I definitely break some of these rules. I've found myself making some of these mistakes in the past. But especially if you're a beginner, if you can just avoid these 10 rookie errors, you're gonna be ahead of most guys in terms of style. I'd love to hear from you. Do you agree with these rules? Do you have any rules that you'd like to add to this list? If so, leave a comment down below. And until next time, stay stylish.